Get to know Amber Spencer-Knowles. She is the fabulous founder of WavyWmn, a digital space celebrating Black women and their short hairstyles. All right, everybody, I am so excited about my next guest. She is absolutely phenomenal. Amber Spencer-Knowles, welcome to the Shundria Show. How are you?
Thank you for having me. I'm well, thank you.
My pleasure. Well, let us dive on in. Tell me about yourself and the WavyWmn brand.
So, my name is Amber. I am from Brooklyn, New York, born and raised. Like many Black women, I've had done just about everything that you can imagine with my hair. I've had it permed, I've had it cut all the way down, I've done like different colors, you name it, I've probably done it. So with WavyWmn, how it all ties in, it all started in 2019 with my own waving journey when I started waving. So for those who don't know, waving is when you brush the natural curl of your hair flat, which achieves a wave-like pattern. And there are 5 different kinds of waves. There's 50-60 waves, which are the classic old school waves. You see a lot of older gentlemen back in them days, they used to wear that a lot. It would be parted going in one direction and then one in the other. Then you have the 180 waves, which tend to go in one direction. It's usually like you'll see them in a lot of men who have their hair shaved across, like having a fade. And then the waves again go in one direction. Then you have the 360 waves, which is what I'm sporting right now. So it starts in the center of the crown of the head and it extends downward. What I have is called the beehive pattern, which is self-explanatory. It's small circles extending to the nape of the neck, along to the sideburns. In addition to, there's another variation of the 360 wave, which is where same scenario starts at the crown, but instead of being a beehive pattern, it swirls. So it almost mimics think of it as you're at a carnival and you see like the swirly whirl kind of thing. Think of 360 waves as that. Then you have the 540 waves. The 540 waves mimic a hurricane's pattern. So if you ever see a hurricane on the map, and you see the direction that a hurricane goes, that tends to be the direction of a 540. And last but not least, you have the 720 waves, which are the most difficult waves to attain because instead of it going in the directions that I just described, 720 waves go along the side. They actually spin, instead of spinning down horizontally, they spin vertically across the hair. And you can't actually start 720 waves by doing different. You can't start 360 and then want to do 720. You have to cut your hair off and start it over. You can't really do 540 to 720 because that too would require you to cut your hair off. So there are quite levels to it.
I never knew that. You just taught me some things today.
Yes. A lot of people didn't know. Like I didn't even know myself until I began this journey. I'm like, okay, maybe it'll just be easy. Boy, was I wrong. But I love it nonetheless.
So why did you create the brand? What were you in the moment where you were like, was your hair already cut short when you created the brand? And then this your segue into...
Oh, yes. So I have had my hair cut short almost 5 years now. And it started because when I began my own waving journey, I started looking for inspiration from like others. Like maybe there's some Black women wavers that I could kind of use as like my starting point to kind of have an idea of what kind of waves I want to get or want to create for myself. And upon looking, I realized that there was like a huge lack of visibility in Black women wavers as a whole. And then from the background that I come from, I have a journalism and marketing background. So I've worked with natural beauty brands previously and noticed that when they discuss natural hair, they never discussed waves because waves have been a heavily dominated male industry for many decades. Mm-hmm. And you don't really see a lot of Black women wavers as a whole. As in addition, like when Black women cut their hair, you don't really see them. They're like, oh, well, you can do big chop, you could just rock it baldy, you could grow it right back, you could do a teeny weeny afro, but you never hear about waves. Mm-hmm. And that is an option that I want more and more Black women to feel comfortable with because again, it's been very masculine presented and I just want women to understand that this is not it's not masculine. We can do this too. Women can be wavy too. So with that, I created WavyWmn in January of 2020. on a whim, this was like a completely different direction of where I was going with my business. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this because I know that there are other women out here that want to do the same, might be too scared to do it, might be afraid. It's like, because it's bad enough we already have the stigma that, when your hair is short, you look like a guy or whatever the case may be. Or even so, some women aren't necessarily as confident rocking their hair short. And I'm here to tell you that you can do it. It's just hair. It will grow right back. I promise.
It's just hair. It'll grow right back. Tell me about your tagline. Hair is the canvas. Waves are just the paint, and what it means to you.
So hair is just a canvas. Waves are just the paint. A lot of the times, Black women especially, our identity is tied to our hair. No matter what we wear, whether we have wigs on, whether we have braids on, whether we keep it short, whether we keep it long, wear locks, etc. Our identity is always tied to our hair. Our hair is the canvas because that is how we present ourselves to the world. This is how we choose to express ourselves in a lot of ways. This was the way that I chose to express myself because once I got out of college, that's when I was like, you know what? I want to start experimenting with hair color. So I did every single kind of hair color you could imagine under the sun, just because I was like, you know what? I want to express myself. I want to use this as my way to, just show off my personality. And with that, waves are just the paint. Waves are natural to the hair, just like, curls. You can have waves and your hair will still be natural. You don't have to texturize your hair. You don't have to put any kind of chemical compound to make your hair waves. It is all following the natural curl pattern of your hair. So with hair is the canvas, waves is just the paint. Your hair is here. Waves just here to exemplify and make you feel more in tune with yourself, or even just in tune with what's around you. Because I couldn't even begin to tell you how many times people say, like, oh my gosh, you have waves, boys try to get waves. How do you get your waves like that? And I just, again, want women to understand it's like, your hair is a canvas, waves are just the paint. Waves are just an extension of who you are. Waves are whatever you want to make them.
I love that you wear it, you rock it, you wear it proudly, and you're championing for women, and namely Black women, to be confident. And like you said, it's not a hairstyle that's really popularized, and so I love that you're doing that. I love that you're creating this. What or who inspired entrepreneurship in your own life?
So I come from a line of family members who have created generational wealth amongst themselves. My background, I'm of Jamaican descent. My mother was born and raised in Jamaica. My grandparents had their own company. My grandfather, he ran a contracting company all across his parish and all across, like in a lot of parts of Jamaica. On my father's side, my father was my ultimate angel investor and left behind just a little something to help me get started. It's like, you know what, I'm going to continue this because not even just because of him, but for those who came before me and for those who are going to come after me. I want to create this pathway so that my family and future generations can understand that, yes, you can do this too. It's okay. You don't have to know what you want to do. As long as you have your idea and you start formatting it, and you start kind of getting a better idea of who you are. Because with WavyWmn, I've learned a lot more about myself. And again, going back to generational wealth, I want future generations to understand it's like, you can still do everything you want to do while still being yourself, while still being true to yourself, while still being true to your roots.
I love how empowering your brand is. And in your opinion, why is it so important for women to love the skin they're in?
To love the skin they're in, like, as you've seen, we've gone on for so long, like light skin has, like, as long as it's been Eurocentric beauty standards, a lot of our beauty has come from that. And to see like other women just coming together, it's like, you know what, I don't want to be this, I don't want to hold on to this standard, I don't want to be this person. That's what I'm here for. Like, I would love for all Black women to just be like, this isn't the standard I want to be a part of. And that's okay, because that standard wasn't meant for us in the first place. This was not something that was built in our favor anyway. So to see more women coming together, more women being more comfortable with themselves, like from not even just from hair, from like body type, skin complexion, etc. Like, I love to see it, and I want more and more Black women to be okay with the fact that, you know, I can't speak for all Black women because I'm light skinned. My experience is different from someone who is dark skinned. My experience is different from someone who is brown. And I would never want to overshadow that. In fact, I would want them to come speak their story themselves. Like, I would never want to be that person like, okay, well, you know, I'm not going to gaslight. I will never, ever do that. Especially like, I'm sorry, I'm very passionate about this. But as I was saying, it's like, I would love for my Black women to come together and just like speak on these things, because WavyWmn is more than just a hair brand. I want to educate Black women. I want to educate Black women on their hair. I want to educate them and help them feel more comfortable with who they are. So that way, when you cut your hair, or even if you decide to do waves, you learn more about yourself. Because for me, I learned a lot about myself as I began this journey, and I became more comfortable with myself. So that's something that I would love to see and love to be a part of going forward.
I appreciate how passionate you are about the subject. I know Black, especially for Black hair care, that relationship that a lot of Black women have with their hair sometimes can be difficult or estranged. And that's a hard thing to love. You know, I feel like a lot of times you love the skin you're in, but you don't love the hair, you know? And then society, you know, puts so much pressure on. I mean, I just feel like I can't think of any other demo that's criticized as much as Black women in their hair. You know, is she wearing a weave? Is she wearing a wig? Is she wearing a teeny fro? You know, is it natural? Is it permed? Like, there's always so much critique on women's hairstyle choices. But, you know, how can you personally empower women that are watching to embrace themselves and whatever their hairstyle choice is?
Well, my advice to the woman, like, no matter who you are, what kind of hair you've brought yourself to love, I want you to understand that it's just one you. If this is like, you know, you don't have to cut your hair short, and that's okay. There is nothing wrong with that. I want women to understand that, like, we are not our hair. That yes, we use this as a way to express ourselves. We use this as a way to understand, like, okay, you know, this is how I'm going to wear my hair. Because we also got to remember, it wasn't until very recently that natural hair was allowed to be worn in the workplace without any kind of discrimination. And this is stemming from decades and decades back. Like, as I mentioned, I am of Jamaican descent. Like, in Jamaica, you don't see it's still ostracized to wear your hair naturally. You'll still see a lot of women wearing wigs. You see a lot of women wearing perms and relaxers. And there's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you educate yourself on what your hair is. And there is no such thing as bad hair. Mm-hmm. I don't want it. I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think. There is no such thing as bad hair, and there's no such thing as good hair. Good hair is the hair that you take care of. Not some predisposed idea like, oh, you know, her hair is soft and curly. This is good hair. Like, that's just soft and curly hair. That's not good hair. Like, good hair is the hair that you take care of. That's the hair you take care of. Like, for me, I have 4A hair. I was like, okay, I take care of my hair. I don't see it any way. It doesn't matter if you have 4C hair. 4C hair especially, because 4C hair is more often than not the type of hair that always gets criticized, always gets ostracized, always gets left out in the conversation. And that's what WavyWmn is for. Like, I love to see women with 4C hair rocking waves or rocking their teeny weeny fro. Like, that's your hair. Good hair is hair that you take care of. So with that, I want you to understand that it's okay if you want to cut your hair. It's okay if you want to keep it in wigs. There's nothing wrong with that. Just make sure that you're being true to yourself and you're expressing yourself the way that you want to express yourself and not the way society wants you to express yourself.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Your brand represents beauty and confidence in women. Speak to the women watching who are ready for the big chop. They're ready for change, however that looks, but they may be on the fence. How can you inspire that woman watching?
Well, to give you an idea, I cut my hair after years of being scared. Like, I was terrified. Like, I don't know if I'm going to look good. I don't know if this is going to be something that I want to do going forward. And honestly, you just got to look at yourself in the mirror and just be like, this is just hair. It will grow back. It's going to grow back. It's not going to be forever. And if it is forever, then that's okay too. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. Embrace it. Because your hair is not you. You are you. Your hair is just an extension. Your hair just happens to be here. So even if you don't have hair, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. You're not less of a woman because you don't have this one particular thing that makes women women according to society. Like, that is something to understand, that you can still, you can still support the cause. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, be comfortable with you because you only have one you. So treat yourself right.
I'm so grateful for you today. I'm so proud of you. Congratulations
Thank
on
you.
your business. I'm excited about everything that WavyWmn is going to be doing in the future. And I want to thank you for being my special guest on the Chandria Show. If anyone is interested in learning more about you and WavyWmn, what's the best way to connect?
Yes, thank you so much, Chandria, for having me. I really do appreciate your time. If you want to learn more about WavyWmn, feel free to check us out on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Pinterest, all at WavyWmn. So that's at WavyWmn, WavyWmn.
Yes, you are amazing. Oh my gosh.
Thank
I have
you.
to come back on the show one day in the future. It's been a true
Yes.
pleasure.
Yes, thank you so much.